Hey, this is your friendly neighborhood fitness motivator, Brother Rob, and I wanted to talk to you today about how starting a weight loss and fitness journey is almost identical to starting YouTube. What? What? How can getting in shape, how can losing a few pounds be like starting YouTube? Well, I'm going to tell you how. For example, at this point in time, this channel has 9 subscribers. 9 subscribers. Do you know the feeling you get when you start a channel with 9 subscribers? I do. I have 2 other channels. Well, I have multiple channels, but I have a couple other channels that just those 2 channels have 10,000 subscribers combined. So why is this some kind of a mystery to me? Why do I not know that there's these doubts, that there's these insecurities? Is anybody going to watch my videos? Is anybody going to like my videos? Is this plan going to work? The same thing you have to do to grow on YouTube is the same thing you have to do to shrink here or swell here. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. You have to go past the initial part of your reservations that make you ask, is this going to work? I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know. Is this my niche? You know, they talk about niches. Is the fitness niche flooded? Is anybody going to relate to me talking about going from obese to fit? Is anybody going to listen to me talk about going from 40% body fat to 20% body fat and then the final cut down to 15% body fat? Is anybody going to be interested in tuning into that at all? Because a lot of what I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to do demos. You know what? If you want to know if you have what it takes to drop the weight and get in shape and take your life back, all you have to do, you don't have to look up. You gotta get motivated. You gotta look down. If you have 2 feet, you have all you need. And the way you start on YouTube is the way I started to get 10,000 subscribers. I got a computer now. I do a lot of fancier stuff on those channels than I do here. I'm just going to do these videos on my phone. I might do a few on my computer. I might record some and edit some. These are going to be the same way I lost the weight. These are just going to be nitty gritty conversations about getting out there and doing it. But let me tell you how the weight comes off. Let me tell you how you begin to feel like you have more energy. Let me tell you how you begin to wake up without an alarm clock. Let me tell you how you begin to get to the point where you look forward to waking up again. Because when you get fit physically, you get fit mentally. When you get fit physically, you get fit spiritually. And there's no way. I told an individual that when you drop weight, you will realize you were in depression. And this individual said, you know, no, I'm not in depression. You won't know until you get a 50 pounds or 100 pounds off of you. Then you realize, oh my gosh, I was depressed. Because the weight that you carry is holding you down. It is limiting you. It is keeping you from doing things that you would do. It's keeping you from considering things that you can consider a lot more things when you get 100 pounds off. But let me get back to how starting a YouTube channel is the same as losing weight. It takes a while to get those pounds to start coming off. You have to work and you have to put in time and you have to put in energy and you have to put in an investment and you got to tweak this and tweak that, and then you start to make progress. In my first 4 months, I lost 38 pounds. Sometimes people's YouTube channels grow like that. The first 4 months, they might gain 2, 3, 4, 500 subscribers, and then they fall off, and then it plateaus. So in my first 4 months of working out, I lost 38 pounds, about 2.5 pounds a week, getting rid of excess water, getting rid of excess sodium, I'm telling you, detox, you detox when you get in shape. So I got a great deal of progress in 4 months. After that, I plateaued and was only losing about 4 to 5 pounds a month until about the last 6 to 8 weeks. I've been losing 3 pounds a week, down to 20%. And that's when I changed some things. I had a breakfast burrito that was 290 dead calories, and I changed that to a can of tuna with extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of cheese, and a little bit of Greek yogurt, because one of my brothers gave me a good pointer on that. That's actually almost 500 calories. However, it is dense in protein. It's about 40 grams of protein. It is low on carbs, and it's high on fat, which satiates you. But this is metabolic food. This protein is metabolic food. It takes more energy to burn the protein than it takes to burn fat or carbohydrates, to digest it. This is the digestive process of digesting protein is more metabolic. I'm not going to get into all that, but what I'm saying is, now at the end, my progress has speeded up. Let me tell you what one of these fitness influencers out here, he gave a great analogy. I don't really care for him because he's a fake doctor. He's Dr. Mike Israetel. He runs a channel called Renaissance Fitness Pinol. Okay, but this is an analogy he gave about losing weight. Let's say you're going to war, because when you want to get your strength, your fitness, your endurance, and your attitude and your behavior back, you're going to war. And the war, there's no competitors in this war. It's you versus you. But let me just give this analogy that he gave, and I'm going to throw a twist in at the end that he didn't give. Okay, follow me. And I know I got some warriors and soldiers who's going to listen to this. You got to lose 100 pounds, but your opposition has 100. You're fighting two battles. Okay, 100 versus 100. Okay, you have say the 100 on this side is your will. Say the 100 on this side is the fat. Okay, you're going to war against the fat. When you first go to war, you lose. You could take out 100. You could take out 5 soldiers, and you really can't tell the difference. You really can't tell the difference. You really did anything happen? You can't. If you take out, mortally wound 100 soldiers or 5 soldiers out of 100, you can't tell the difference. That's the same way it is when that first 5 pounds comes off. That's how this war gets fought. And then you take out another 5 soldiers. Now you've lost 10 pounds. Well, you can maybe something's happening here. Maybe we're starting to turn this tide. You take out 15. You take out 20. Wait a minute. The force is shrinking. See, that's what you have to overcome on YouTube. The gravity of thinking nothing is happening. The continuing to plug in the videos, the continuing to upload, the continuing to build an audience, okay? Connect with people, tell the story, tell the narrative in a way that connects with them, okay? Tell what happened in your life in a way that connects with somebody else. Wait a minute, now I've taken out 30, I've mortally wounded 30 of the enemy soldiers. I can tell that things are changing. That's momentum. That's what momentum is when you're trying to overcome this fat force or this, what do you call it? Sedentary. Let's say all of your sedentary sitting tendencies are soldiers. You got to overcome sedentary tendencies. All right, let's get down to this. So you battled to the point you've got you still got your 100 soldiers. You still got your reasons. You need to come up with reasons. I'm doing this for my wife. I'm doing this for my children. I'm doing this so I can see my grandchildren. I'm doing this so I'm a better worker. I'm doing this so I can offer more. I can bring more to the table, stronger, with more endurance and a better attitude that I get. Because you will find you have a great attitude after you overcome the fat force. I mean, think all your reasons. You've fired and you've continued and you've been consistent and you've made progress. And now, let me tell you how this works. And this is where I'm at now. Now, you're down to the last 15 to 20 soldiers. Or the last 15 to 20 pounds that you need to get down to 15% body fat, which is my goal, 12 to 15% body fat. At 58, an old man can still get abs. All right, check this out. These aren't the soldiers you took out at first. This isn't the water. This isn't the excess sodium. This is not the easy. These are not the easy ones to kill. You know what these last 20 soldiers are? They Navy SEALs. They Green Berets. This Delta Force. You see the reason why it's hard right now, and I've come up with an understanding that I'll share with you later. The main thing is to get started. This Delta Force, they've dug in. They've got techniques. They've been hanging on. You had these last 20 soldiers. They're veterans. You've had this around your waist or around your buttocks or hips. You know, for mainly with men it's the belly, and for women it's the hips and the quads. And I'm not getting into all that. These are trained. These are veterans. These are going to be hard to retire. But what I want to share with you about YouTube, that's the way it is when you. That's the way it is with fat. That's the way it is with weight loss. That's the way it is with fitness. But that's the way it is with YouTube too, because I love the channel, the Love Agenda, or it's called First Allegiance now. It's a Christian channel. My other channel is called Men of Destiny. I haven't really posted that for a long time, and these are faith-based channels, and I haven't. Drop a comment. Let me know. I haven't promoted this channel across those channels yet. I've got my reservations. I'm like, I don't have all my ideas lined up. That is really me and what I know. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is how I got from where I was. I was fit. I was lean. I was running 5Ks and 10Ks and half marathons. No problem. 15 years ago. And how I fell off. And by the grace of God, because I'll tell you, this journey, it's a faith journey. It really is. It really stretches your faith, and it really is an exercise in taking actions, trusting in the process. That if you take the right actions and you follow the correct discipline, you do get the reward. And that's what we do every day in the journey of faith. But at any rate, I'm going through the same thoughts with a channel with only 9 subscribers as I went through with the channels that grew to 10,000 subscribers. Why? I've done this before. I know how this works. There are people who make videos and they catch the algorithm, and in a few videos, they've got 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 subscribers. Well, that ain't me. And 9 times out of 10, that ain't you either. And there are people who seem to be able to effortlessly and flawlessly go from fat to fit. That wasn't and isn't me. And let me tell you what, you really don't want it to be you. You don't want to take easy ways. You don't want to take shortcuts. You don't want to buy subscribers. You don't want to buy likes. You don't want to buy views. Because people cheat on YouTube. And you know what? When they do, it tanks their channel. People don't watch their stuff anyway. And YouTube could ban them or demonetize them. There are ways that people cheat to drop weight. I'm so thankful that I went about it the right way, the hard way, the long way. Sometimes it's a long, hard battle to grow on YouTube. It's a long, hard battle to get a lot of comments and to get people who actually, they're there to listen to you, to motivate them, to encourage them, to edify them in their faith walk. Or, you know, there's so many niches on this channel. And let me tell you what my motivating reason is for doing this channel. I'll do another video in greater detail. I've had friends die of obesity. I've had brothers die of obesity, and you can put on the death certificate, you can put cause of death, COVID, cause of death, stroke, cause of death, many different things. But if you know this person's lifestyle, if you know their fitness level, let's get down to root cause. It wasn't COVID. They were battling to be alive before they ever got COVID or before they ever got pneumonia. They were operating at 30% of their health before something came on them. So when something came on them, it was a quick trip to their expiration date. All right, well, I don't know if this is going to catch the algorithm. I don't know if you caught my vibe. If you understand what I'm talking about, if it made any sense, the reservations that people have from going from fat to fit, and the reservations that one might have from starting YouTube, being the same, overcoming the same things, and connecting with the strategies and the consistency and the uploads and all that. It's the same thing you got to do. You got to put the work in on a regular basis. You have to, and I believe, as far as I hope and pray to God, that people on my other channels say, this man is doing this. He's doing this more for me than he's doing it for him. And I want people to live longer, and I'm not taking this out of context. We know there's a verse that says the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I came that they would have life and have it more abundantly. And you can't understand how much more abundant life there is until you get that fat off. All right, let me know in the comments section if you think I should share this across my other platforms, and if this connected and resonates with you at all. Have an awesome day. You deserve it.